Okay, we're continuing on chapter 6, page 144. A little more about the patient who may be comatose or unconscious. On page 144, CNA class, chapter 6. Make sure when you are providing oral care, get something and get their mouth. You don't want to put your fingers in the mouth. And not much water as well. But I want you to underline number 7 on page 144. Turn resident on his side or turn his head to the side. Place a towel under his cheek and chin. Place the emesis basin next to the cheek and chin for excess fluids. Turn them. I actually turn their body a little bit too. Because they will aspirate very easily. And next thing you know, pneumonia. And they're already not moving. We don't need that happening. So make sure you do that. Flossing teeth, page 145. We already know how to floss teeth, but we got to do it special for someone else. Make sure gloving again. You are messing with their mouth, but just like in that figure 636, she's got her finger in there. Again, I'm probably gonna beg them, please don't bite me. But most people are very cooperative, but if you have someone that's not cooperative, you still use that same technique with your tongue blades, so they will not chomp on you. Or nowadays we've got the little picks that they use now, which are very wonderful. That that little pick that you do. But when you're doing someone else and you got the dental floss, underline number 9. After every 2 teeth, unwind the floss from your fingers, move it so you're using a clean area, and floss all teeth. You're supposed to, every 2 teeth, you're supposed to get a new piece of dental floss and do. And we're supposed to do that at home too. Most people don't. We just use it, and when it slips off our fingers, then we get some more. That's pretty much how we do it. But every 2 teeth, we're going to change the area of floss. Dentures, we're going to actually do denture care. Our most important thing is to protect those dentures from falling in that sink and breaking. They're very breakable, and you don't want to break them because they need them. So our main goal is to, if you look in figure 639, you see the towel. That towel is there. We want to put about halfway water and a towel up under there, or napkins or something that's going to break that fall from hitting that ceramic sink, like because they may break. So you want to protect the teeth. Towel is a wonderful thing, and you're going to just brush all the areas, inside, outside. You want to rinse them off first because they may have the glue that sticks in their mouth. You got to get that off. But rinse them off first. May have food, whatever, same thing you would have in your teeth. Then they will have to brush. So make sure we're protecting those teeth by at least halfway of water and a protector. And then you can hold the dentures over and brush. We'll actually do that as well. You need to know what a standard pan and a fracture pan is. Those are your pictures on page 640. Standard pan is what we're so used to seeing. It's the pan, bed pan is what we call it, or standard. That is that pink one. The blue one is your fracture. It's for people, maybe they've had some type of surgery, they can't move or they can't just lift up a little bit. Some kind of surgery, hip surgeries, but they're still going to have bowel movement as well. But it's easier. You can actually, it's got a little handle on it. That handle, and I want you to write it somewhere. We might get to it, but the handle needs to be facing the foot of the bed. And that way you can actually go in between their legs and get them to raise up. And they won't have to raise up as much as you do have to with the standard pan. Sometimes you'll have to roll somebody with that standard pan. You've got to really watch that as well. For our state test, you just have to lift up. And we get it up under you. But some patients can't do that. Like the bronchoscope, right now I would be able to lift up. Some patients you're going to have to place it, and then get them to roll back onto the bedpan. You really got to watch it when they're done, because then you're going to have to roll them off, and you've got to hold that bedpan straight and steady while rolling them. So you got to roll them and watch that bedpan so it doesn't roll with them and make a whole nother mess. So, that's just something you'll have to do when, people can't, lift up. And a lot of your nursing home patients, we're gonna place the pen and roll it back. And then roll them back. And then all of that rolling is one of your skills, is place that patient on the right side. Same thing, you're just gonna roll them on their side. And then you would do the same thing for their bedpan. Urinal is what a male would normally use. You actually just put the penis inside, and it's on the next page, 149. And that's how it, that's why it's shaped a little funny, like a milk jug, actually. And I seen a funny little Facebook thing where somebody was drinking, or thought it was orange juice. You know, and almost did drink urine. It's not a milk jug. It's not none of that. It is a urinal. So truck drivers use urinals a lot too. Page 148. They're talking about the little bed protector. It's a wonderful thing. If you got bed protectors, that's saving that bed. If you ever get that bed wet or dirty or anything on it, guess what we're gonna have to do? Change the whole bed. So we're not gonna try to do that. We're gonna keep some bed protectors up under there and make sure that they don't get wet. But underline number 10 on page 148. Oh, there it goes. A fracture pan should be positioned with the handle toward the foot of the bed. Sorry, but there it goes. And that fracture pan, that's the little one. And then they're showing a picture of your urinal for page 149. Your portable commode, just like a regular commode, but it's portable. A lot of times we're sitting by someone's bedside because they can't make it to the bathroom. I say as long as you can do to hold out that, at least they have to walk to get to the bathroom. You sit there and put that portable commode there. That's saying a lot. You're saying that they really can't make it too far, and it's gonna make them go weaker and weaker because we're not even walking them even to the bathroom now. So try to hold off on that. It's a convenience for them, but they just don't know they don't need convenience, because convenience is weakening their muscles. Get them up. Take them to breakfast at the table. Get them up. Don't let them just lay in the bed. Take them to the front porch. Something. Get them moving. I still believe in a rocking chair. Get them in a rocking chair. And get them rocking. And that's going to help everything. Help them move. But that's your portable commode there. And again, it's got the little thing that is removable from up under them. And you just empty it. Just like if you was to have bowel movement, you flush the toilet every time that they have a bowel movement or urinate, you empty it. You don't wait till the next day or next shift or per shift. And that's what nursing homes were doing for a while. And you could smell it as soon as you walk into a nursing home. You do not leave that stuff in there. It is just it's well. They use it, you go empty it, putting it. Much easier to clean like that as well. A little trick that a lot of people use, it might have, it is on page 148, 640, the figure 643. They've lined that bedpan with towels or toilet paper. I'm not sure what it is, but if you can do that, that's also going to help you clean. So you won't have so much to clean as well, and it's a whole lot easier to clean your bedpan out afterwards. That's just a little trick of a trade a lot of people would use. Position and moving residence. Now you're going to have to know, and there's going to be a test. Your test will include all of these positions: supine, and then that next page, lateral, prone, Fowler's, and Sims. The test actually is by words, not by pictures, so you're going to have to know exactly what they mean. So we already know supine, they're laying on the back, look it up. Then you got your lateral, they're laying on this side. And then prone to suffocate on their stomach. Fowler's is just a semi-sitting position, that's how they're sitting. And I always say that must have been Mr. Fowler's favorite position, but they've named that. It's 40 to 60 degrees Fowler's. So underline that as well for your Fowler's degrees. 45 to 60 degrees. And a lot of times that's where they want people to sit, especially say people that can't breathe well. They at least want them there. people who are, have those tube feedings, they want them up, not all laying down. Sims position, that is more turning, almost prone position. You're not there yet, but that leg, the significance about that leg is drawn up. One leg drawn up. And they are on their, it's like an extreme lateral, but they're turned on over. So that is your Sims position. So know the wordings to that as well. Lying on the left side, or it can be right, with one leg drawn up. That's your Sims. If you're trying to move somebody up in bed, you want to count to number 3. On the count of 3, we're going to move. You want your patient to help you, even if you think they're very weak. If they can help, it's better than dead weight. On the count of 3, we're going to move together. Also, if you look on 651, on purpose, they've got that pillow at the head of the bed. That pillow is there just in case y'all go extreme and get really wild, and so she won't hit her head on top of the bed. And sometimes, you know, 2 people working together, you underestimate strength, and y'all hit headboards. Try not to hit the headboards or the walls, whatever's back there. Put something there so you can. And that's what you tell them. If you will, press down with your feet and your arms, and on the count of 3, we're gonna lift up, and then they lift up, and you put them to the side. Flip on over page 154. Actually, they're showing you in that picture how you can move that patient. For me, I'm going to use the drawstring and get them to the side of the bed. This person is by herself, and she's going to move one half of the body and then move the other half of the body. Always using the torso in the middle. The hips and shoulder first, and then hips and legs next. And that's how you can get them to the side of the bed easily. You may be wanting them to actually roll them over. You have to get them to the side first to roll them over. It really depends on maybe how big the bed is, what you got to do. And that's one way you can do it. Always think about how she's lifting there as well. Her feet are bent, and that's the best way to do it. Don't just be bending over, picking up stuff, including patients. You want to use your muscles in your legs. Also, when you're turning, and we'll do this, same thing with, they keep on telling us about turn that patient on the right side. That is one of your state skills. What you need to do with the foot. Figure 634. Cross the leg nearest over the far leg. Wherever you're headed, that's the leg that needs to go over. If you're turning to the right, that leg that's on top, we flip that leg over. If you're turning left. But that's all that's saying. Don't think about it too hard. It's kind of automatic when you do turn somebody. But you need to put that leg there, because that leg is actually, when you get them a little bit, it helps turn them right on over. And figure 655, he's actually doing that state skill again. You're turning them to the, I guess that is her left side. And notice the bed rail is up. Now this on your state test, that lady might put that bed rail down. I keep this bed rail up just for simplicity's sake. And most of them will leave it up. Some of them will put that bed rail down because they want you to know that you do not turn anybody and just turn them, because they could turn and roll right on off the bed. Depends on how rolly they are. It happens. So make sure you always got that bed rail up on the opposite side. If you are standing there, which is that next picture, 656, if you are rolling it towards you, you're the barrier. So you do not have to have that bed rail up. Me, I'm putting the bed rail up anyway. But you want to roll them, and you're the one that's in the way instead of the bed rail. So if you're away from yourself, put that bed rail up. If it's coming towards you, you don't have to have one. Log rolling is rolling that patient together in one place. Maybe they've had back surgery, and we would do a log roll. Log roll, just like log rolls, all together. And that's what you want to try to do every time anyway. But on a back, say patient had back surgery, you really want to roll them because they've got some things going on in their back, and you want to actually log roll them. To do that, look at number 8. Place the resident's arms across his chest, just like he's alone. Get little, and a pillow between the knees. Underline pillow between the knees. there is a reason we're trying to keep them straight. And to help that, we put the pillow between the legs. And if you'll see, they've just folded up a pillow and put it between his legs. And you want two people to do a log roll. A true log roll needs two people because you want to do it at the same time, the whole body, top and bottom. And they go together. And if you see that draw sheet right up under there, that's what they're pulling on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And both of y'all turn them together. And that's what that next picture is. You've got him turned. Okay? When a patient is asked to sit up, when we'll have to sit up patients often, you want them to dangle, underline dangle. And that definition, dangle means to sit up on the side of the bed with your legs hanging over the side. It actually helps residents regain their balance. Sometimes people are on blood pressure pills and they get, it's a gravity thing. When you sit somebody up, gravity, your blood pressure does certain things as you're laying down. Different receptors are telling your body to do whatever. Go to another position, your gravity is different. So your blood pressure does a little change and shift. If they're on blood pressure meds, or if they've got low blood pressure, orthostatic hypotension, means their blood pressure changes from sitting to lying to standing. We're going to ask them to dangle. We want them to get right first. And then same as when you're standing them up, okay? You dangled a minute, then, okay, are you okay? Then, okay, on the count of 3, we're going to stand up. And same thing, when they stand up, you sit there and let them gain their balance. Sometimes they will fall back to the bed. Just make sure it's a controlled fall. They're just sitting back on the bed. But that unsteadiness, you want to make sure before you start them walking that they are steady. Okay, so dangle is the first step in there. You want to dangle. And all that means is to stand them up. Use the back of your bed. When you are trying to sit somebody up, don't just pick them up. That's your back. You're wasting your back. If they've got a hospital bed, you take that bed and sit it up as much as you can. That's you saving your back and helping that patient as well sit up without you having to sit them up. And it's going to save both of y'all. Use what you got. Take that bed and sit them up. And then, you just like a baby, then you can help to dangle them. You just turn them just like that. They're already sitting up. You would take their back, just like she's got it. Her arms are up under his legs. On the count of 3, we're going to turn them. And you just turn where his legs are sitting. And that's that next picture. Now his legs are hanging on the side of the bed. And that's how you're going to get up a lot of your patients in the mornings. Use the head of the bed. If they've got a head of the bed that moves, use it. Or else you will be picking them straight up and sitting them up. But then they're going to be sitting up in the bed like this. Go ahead, use the head of the bed as much as you can. Then that's going to help you in your back. All right, flip on over, page 158. Know that definition for ergonomics. It is the science of designing equipment, areas, and work tasks to make them safer and suit the worker's abilities. OSHA states that manual lifting and transferring a resident should be reduced and eliminated when possible. And they're trying to do that. That's why Hoyer lifts are everywhere now. They don't want people really picking up people that you can't pick up. And so to save your back, we're going to use the Hoyer lift. Ergonomics is also anything like you may be familiar with somebody's typing, and they've got that little typing thing that they can rest while they type. That's ergonomics. Just makes you more able to do things without injuring yourself. And that's what is the study of, actually. And we're also going to use the transfer belt. Underline that. Transfer belt is to help the patients, and you won't see a lot of that, and don't repeat me, but in your nursing homes, transfer belts are actually wonderful. But you'll see they're using buckles. But transfer belt is also very welcome as well. They also call it the gait belt. We call it a gait belt when we're walking them. Transfer when we're transferring. But it's the same belt that we use to help us pick up a patient. Gait belt is to help them stay steady, and you hold on to it while you're walking. That's actually one of your stay skills as well. We're going to walk a patient 10 feet, turn around, and go back. But we're going to use the gait belt to do that as well. Also, if you look, a sliding board, which is a wonderful thing. to get a patient from their bed to their wheelchair, you're gonna have to take the arm off the wheelchair. And y'all need to go play with a wheelchair. I've got one back there. Don't be going to the nursing home, y'all don't know how to take off the side or take on or put off the arms and legs of the wheelchair, because that will, I promise you, when I first did it, I did not. And I'm sitting there, they look at you cross-eyed like, you don't know how to do that. I'm like, no, because I didn't play with the wheelchair. No, it's not hard, but it's something that once you get, you realize, you know, I gotta put this little pin in this little hole, and it's gotta be straight. Then you'll realize, you know, each of them, and they're backwards on each side. But just play with it, and we'll actually do that skill as well. They stand up, we're actually gonna move. We're not gonna take off the feet, but you need to do that. Take them off one time and put them back on. Just to say I did it, and it won't take you 15 minutes. Maybe it'll take you 5 to figure it out, but not 15. Yeah, play with them, and we actually do a skill where we turn them out, because we don't want the feet in your way. When you're standing a patient up, you move the feet out the way, or else you and the patient may trip on that foot. And I say the foot that sticks out in the wheelchair. So you want that out the way when you're standing somebody up. And that board, that transfer board, is a wonderful thing as well. Another trick that I always tell, if you're moving a patient to a wheelchair and their bed is whatever level it is, you want that bed just a little bit above the wheelchair. So we're gonna pick them up, so we won't have to pick them up and put them in the wheelchair. We can actually help them get to the wheelchair. So you're not picking them up so much. You're still gonna have to pick them up a little bit and then get them to the wheelchair. But you're not have to do it so much. You're more letting them fall. Instead, you're gonna use a lot more energy trying to get them up to a wheelchair. So same vice versa. If you're getting them out of the wheelchair, try to lower your bed below the wheelchair. And then you can get them to the bed a whole lot easier. Those little things will help your day go a whole lot better. Come on down, page 159, underline that last G above that yellow. When a resident is in a wheelchair or any chair, he should be repositioned at least how often? Every hour in the wheelchair to promote comfort, pressure, and reduce pressure, increase circulation, exercise the joints, improves muscle tone. And page 160, when a patient falls, we do not catch that patient. We allow them to fall on us. We kind of use us as a barrier. I've actually had to go down with a patient. I've actually had a patient look like that right there, and we were both gonna go and hurt ourselves. So I just pressed forward and we fell on the bed. You know, but you don't just let them fall either. You don't catch them, but you don't just, you are the barrier. Instead of them just going poof, you go down and they can fall on you and kind of get to the floor. So both of y'all are not injured, and they have less injuries as well. We're actually going to transfer a patient from the bed to the wheelchair. That's one of your state skills as well. We're going to use that gait belt, and just as she's standing knee to knee, and we're going to actually, you can use that as a lever. If somebody puts your knee to knee, you can actually push on their knees a little bit to help them stand up, like you using it as a lever. Mechanical lifts, that's your Hoyer lifts. They've got all kind of things. You can even weigh a person in one of those. They're all kind of things. Again, you see all them straps and how they strap. You can get it up under them. In order to get up under them, you have to roll them. You put it up under there and then roll them back. And then you'll come on the other side. But those little straps, you can strap up. You can do all that. But the CNA or nurse or whoever you're with, they're the ones operating the pickup. But you can get them there, you can strap them up, you can do all that. But let them actually do the lift. And that is a good picture of one that they use on page 163, page 668, or figure 668. That's the Hoyer lift with the straps, and they're picking them up. And they're gonna pick them up and set them in the wheelchair. And that is your chapter 6.